Welcome back, I'm Chris Moore with HVAC Pro Blog, and this week I'm not so excited to talk about my first installation I did when I did some side work. And this one's titled, My First Install Was a 4X Failure. Without further ado, here's the training. Alright, I'll take complete ownership for any failures in my life, no matter when they happened. Before I knew better, I was wrapped up in a system replacement for an old friend of a friend. Since I believed I was above the average technician at the time, and could clearly perform an installation at that point in my HVAC career, I was overly confident that I could perform a system upgrade on the side. Since the system design process was new to me, I did what most people do. Ask the old timers. Although their advice seemed too simple to be real, I jumped in with both feet and took their rules of thumb as gospel. As you can imagine, I learned all of the rest of these lessons the hard way. My first install job of my own. Looking back, I really have no one else to blame other than myself. I wish there were countless blogs, video blogs, YouTube videos, social media groups, and online trainings available to learn quickly like we have today. Just reducing the size of a furnace does not guarantee the duct system's going to work. I replaced an old 80% AFUE, 110,000 BTU furnace with a much more efficient, top-of-the-line, 96% at the time, two-stage 80,000 BTU furnace. What I didn't realize at the time was that the less efficient system with a higher temperature rise used less volume of air than the smaller, higher efficient replacement. Since the duct system was sized for the original furnace, the return duct was significantly smaller than I needed. I ended up adding an additional return at my own cost. I also learned that sealing ductwork raises static pressure. I planned to add air conditioning to this unit down the road, so it was a simple install accessory to include the A-coil during the furnace replacement. Now, I at least knew enough at the time to know a single panned bay return duct in the basement from the first floor was never going to cut it. That, coupled with an open filter slot in the basement, was just okay for the old furnace. But the moisture introduced into the system was going to be an issue for the air conditioning. So I pulled down the pan bay and sealed all the joists. I also added a great 4-inch filter box, pleated MERV 11 filter. I kind of chuckle every time I think of this. The air filter was plugged just 1 week following system startup. The static pressure was never higher in that duct system, almost sweeping years of dust into that air filter immediately. All right, number 3, sizing anything based on square footage doesn't work. I was so excited to learn how easy it was to size a system from one old timer. Just had to take the total finished square feet and divide it by X BTUs per hour. This totally made sense too because the number I came up with was smaller. Those cheap guys always sold the contractor special. Bigger was better. I had no doubt I was doing the right thing. After all, I did the math that was taught to me, and that guy says he never had a callback. This happened to be the first time I did a load calculation on a home that was other than my condo. Unfortunately, I did this after the installation and realized the unit was almost twice the size I really needed. Also, the controls were so complicated and were overkill for the homeowner. I should have taken many cues from the homeowner while I was explaining all the benefits of the first communicating furnace on the market. Advanced temperature control coming out of setback, service notifications, diagnostics. It all had no place in what I thought was a sales process back then. More than once, they asked for a simple control, but this particular furnace required a communicating thermostat. I put them at ease, explaining that we can just remove programs and that their interface would have been just like the old T87 that they used to have. Just set the temperature that they want and hit hold. Boy, how I thought it was so easy. And how much they hated that control that lit up the living room and flashed codes all the time. All right, those were all the problems. Let me tell you how I fixed it. I ended up sealing and insulating the entire duct system free of charge. This, plus the addition of a new return duct, cost me an entire day of labor for 2 of us. The static pressure reduced a ton in the return, but unfortunately raised it in the supply ducts, screaming into their bedrooms. It turned out this home barely needed 45,000 BTUs per hour. Since this system was 2-stage, I just locked out the second stage, so the system heated the home exclusively on first stage. Guess what? Never had a callback. In order to lock out the second stage, I had to replace the communicating thermostat with a more simple 2-stage. This was a welcome change to the homeowner who wanted it from the start. Much easier to sell something that they actually want, right? All right, what I learned. There's no shortcuts in the system design process. Just because you never had a callback does not mean they are not living with issues. It could be efficiency, maybe comfort, or even premature system failure issues. Maybe they still saved money on gas, or this was their first central AC after living with window units for decades. But let's be honest, no one likes airing their dirty laundry here. I tell this story to let you know we all make mistakes. Please, just learn from mine. All the extra time, frustration, you name it, to make this job right could have been avoided if I learned the right way, not Ike's way. Thanks for joining me this week at HVAC Pro Blog, where we provide advice for residential system design, quality installation, and system diagnosis. I'll see you soon.